Welcome to section 18.2. This is the 186th session of the CISSP exam prep series. In this session, we'll dig into the technical controls that keep systems running when parts of them break. What do resilience, fault tolerance, and high availability actually mean? How do you measure availability? And why do the nines matter? How do you protect the disks that hold your data? How do you keep servers and power sources from becoming a single failure? What does trusted recovery guarantee after a crash? And how does quality of service protect the network under load? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because availability is a promise you make to the business, and hardware does not care about your promise. Picture a payment processor that must clear transactions around the clock. A single failed disk or one dead server cannot be allowed to take the whole platform down. Your job is to design so that when a component dies, and one always eventually does, the service simply keeps going while you quietly swap the broken piece. So what do resilience, fault tolerance, and high availability really mean? They all attack one enemy, the single point of failure, which is any component whose failure sinks the whole system. Fault tolerance means the system suffers a fault but keeps operating, achieved by adding redundant parts. Resilience means the system holds an acceptable service level during trouble and can return to its earlier state afterward. High availability layers on redundant components, like load balancing and failover, so a system bounces back fast from a brief hit. Think of a plane with multiple engines. Lose one and it still flies. How do you measure availability? And why do the nines matter? You measure it as the percentage of time a system is up. 3 nines means 99.9% availability, which still allows less than 44 minutes of downtime across a 30-day month. Push to 5 nines, and you have squeezed that budget down to roughly 26 seconds a month. Here is the catch worth remembering. Every extra 9 costs dramatically more to achieve because it demands stacking fault tolerance, resilience, and high availability together. Set the target to the business need, not to a vanity number. How do you protect the disks that hold your data? The workhorse is a RAID array, which combines 2 or more disks so the system survives a disk failure. Striping alone speeds things up but gives no protection. Mirroring keeps a full duplicate on a second disk. Striping with parity spreads recovery information so a lost disk can be mathematically rebuilt, and a dual parity variant survives 2 failed disks at once. A stripe of mirrors combines both ideas for speed and redundancy, but never confuse this with a backup. If a catastrophe destroys the whole array, or someone deletes a file, only a real backup brings the data back. How do you keep servers and power from becoming a single failure? For servers, you use a failover cluster, where a standby server automatically assumes the load the instant the active one dies. Pair that with a load balancer spreading traffic across several web servers, and you gain both scale and fault tolerance in one design. In the cloud, providers offer this as a managed service, and you can spread servers across regions for extra resilience. For power, a battery backup carries you through the brief gap, just long enough to shut down safely or spin up a generator, and the generator runs as long as the fuel keeps coming. Lock in a fuel contract before a widespread disaster drains the local supply. What does trusted recovery guarantee after a crash? It guarantees that a system is just as secure after a failure as it was before one. Part of that is preparing for failure with resilience, fault tolerance, and solid backups. The other part is how the system comes back, rebooting into a limited, non-privileged state so it never hands out access it should not. You also decide the failure posture in advance. A fail-secure system locks everything down when it breaks, favoring security, while a fail-open system grants access, favoring availability. The formal model defines 4 grades, from manual recovery that needs an administrator, up through automated recovery that restores specific functions on its own. How does quality of service protect the network under load? Quality of service manages the factors that shape the end-user experience when the network is stressed. It watches bandwidth, latency, jitter, packet loss, and interference, the ingredients that make a connection feel smooth or broken. Its real power is prioritization. It can push mission-critical traffic ahead of the merely nice-to-have, so a live executive video call takes precedence over someone streaming a show. It can even enforce security rules, like requiring encryption on certain traffic. Think of it as a traffic officer, waving the ambulance through before the delivery van. So let's bring it together. Resilience, fault tolerance, and high availability all exist to kill single points of failure. You measure success in nines, and each extra 9 costs far more. RAID arrays protect disks but never replace backups. Failover clusters protect servers, and battery backups plus generators protect power. Trusted recovery keeps a system secure through a crash, and you choose fail secure or fail open in advance. And quality of service protects the network by prioritizing what matters most. Design for the failure you know is coming, and availability takes care of itself. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.